Hey, what's up? Happy Friday, amazing, beautiful night, Friday night. Woohoo! Yes. So welcome. This is your girl Kwa. But originally this is your girl Kwamia. And normally, for those who don't know how to pronounce my name, or either for those who don't know how to say it, you can either call me Q, Qua, or either Queen. So tonight's show, we have an amazing show, which we have with the amazing, beautiful Melissa Pearson. She's basically telling her story. She's going in to let us know in regards how she overcame infertility, depression, postpartum depression, as well as postpartum anxiety. We're going in to also see how she turned her pain into purpose. So tonight's topic is turning pain into purpose. So I see that she's in the building. So let's bring her on. Let's see. And so for everyone, just come in and just engage, put your questions in. Listen, this is more your platform than it is mine. So if anything, just stay tuned, be in tune. Hey!
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Let me just put my things out a little bit. I think that's perfect. Okay. Yes. So how you doing on this amazing Friday
I'm
night?
doing, I'm doing great. I was sick earlier in the week, but I'm feeling back to normal, so I'm happy now.
Okay, good. Listen, good to hear. Good to hear for sure. Listen, so it's just us having a conversation, like if we at the kitchen table, you good, it's just the fact that maybe many people gonna be coming in and out or either staying in tune, but other than that, good. So just acting like you just talking to your girlfriend, we just talking some uncomfortable conversation, and we just actually keeping it 1,000.
Right. I'm here.
Yes. So, in regards to everyone, see that the topic is turning pain into purpose, and so in regards to the infertility, I know that many women do end up basically actually having a challenge with infertility, postpartum depression, and anxiety. So tonight, definitely, we're about to dig deep into this topic. We're about to actually have Melissa Pearson talk her story, speak her story, and stand in her power of her actually getting and breaking through. So, listen. So I see in regards, I know for those who want to educate people as well. So in
Okay.
regards of, I did do some research. So in regards of infertility, I just want to just give people, because some people are like, what is that? What are they talking about? What's going on? So
Yes.
yeah, so in general, basically infertility is defined as not being able to get pregnant or be able to, just conceive. Um, Most women basically due to the fact of certain age, and also in regards to, it's like basically they can't get pregnant on their own, and due to the fact of so many different factors. It could be age and so many other things. But also infertility is a disease of male and female, which I did not know.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let me wait. I did know, because knowing the fact that when I was watching also some TV and also this thing on TLC, shout out to TLC, where it was saying that it was actually the husband's
Mm-hmm.
situation,
Sometimes.
not her. So okay, so I had to definitely take that back. So so in regards to the female and male reproductive system defined by the failure to achieve a pregnancy after 12 months or more. And normally it impacts families, communities, and it seems like it basically impact so basically different community. I won't even say just black and brown, because I do have some Caucasian friends that it also affect them as well. So, and then also just wanted just to get into just to define, because we are going deep into this conversation. So some causes of cases infertility cannot be corrected, but In some cases, spontaneously pregnancy does happen. Couples can often still achieve pregnancy. The use of assistance of reproductive technology, psychological, finance abilities, if they have the finances, and other commitments that they really want to go ahead to be able to do. So, in regards to your infertility, what was your challenges that you end up having in regards of
So when I was younger, I just always, I don't know why, I don't know what it was, but I just always felt like I was going to have trouble conceiving. I don't know why that entered me, but it was just always in my mind. I know I did have one instance that I actually have never told anyone, but I had a situation happen before I met my husband where I was like, okay, in this situation, I should have ended up pregnant. Why didn't I? And I think that's kind of where it started for me. Like, oh shoot, am I going to be able to have kids? Like, am I going to have trouble? So that thought kind of lingered with me for the years. And then when I did meet my husband, um, we have finally decided, I think it was about like 6, 7 months after that we had gotten married, let's start trying. And he already had a son from his previous marriage. So even though I have heard that infertility as well, even if you have already had a child, it can still affect you later. But we started trying, and then months after months, it's like not happening. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why can't I get pregnant?
Yeah. Okay.
And sorry, I thought you were waving at me. And after about 6 months, I think it was, I can't remember exactly, we went to a fertility doctor, and he's like, well, you have to try for at least a year before I could even tell you what to do. So I'm like, well, dag, all right. But it's like, that was the first year, it took a year and a half, but that first year was hard because it's like, negative test after negative test. As a woman, especially my husband having already had a child, you start thinking something's wrong with you. Like, we as women are like, I know that not every woman wants a child, and that's perfectly okay. But for me, that I wanted a child, like my utmost, like dream, anything that I could have was to be a mom. And not being able to achieve that. So fast forward to a year, I go to the doctor, and he's like, okay, you're going to have to do this test. My husband was going to have to do a test. And then that was March or April 2017. I said, you know what? I don't want to do those tests. And I told my husband, I'm just going to leave it in God's hands, because at the end of the day, when and if I'm supposed to have a child, well, God had already spoken to me that I was going to be a mom. So I took, I'm a firm believer in God, and I have faith. So I said, if he already said that, why am I going to keep stressing myself out every month, looking at these negative tests and negative tests? It's just, I can't do it no more. So I said, when and if the time comes, I'll accept it. And then about 6 months after that is when I thankfully was able to conceive. I know, unfortunately, that's not the story for many. I know many women have to go through IVF or other situations, but I was very, very thankful that I was able to conceive her on my own. And we never found out what the what the issue was.
Oh, wow. So in regards of all that, due to the fact of your faith, you was able to conceive.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus, listen, nobody ain't gonna tell me God ain't real.
And let me say something real quick too. I think the reason why I held on to my faith so much during that situation was because almost exactly a year before I gave birth to my daughter, so before I got pregnant and everything, it was August 18, 2017, I had a dream. God speaks to me in dreams many times. And in that dream, it was 3 a.m. I saw my daughter. I saw her exactly how I wanted her. Like I had always told God, I want a daughter. I want her to have dark curly hair. I want her to look like this. And I got to see her in my dream. I've had her name picked out since I was 12. Wow. And like I knew, holding her, I knew that God was going to make it a reality for me. And I kept having more dreams. So I said, okay, that's why I think it was easier for me to be able to just let go and give it to God.
Mhm.
And like December, I had got pregnant in November, but I didn't know until December. I had told my husband, because I was still taking tests just like every so often, but I told my husband in the beginning of December 2017, I was like, you know what, babe? I'm not going to take a test right now, but I know that the next time I take a test is going to be positive. And
Yeah.
he just looks at me and he's like, okay. And December 22nd, 2017, I was like, let me take a test. And that line came up so positive, so fast. I'll never forget.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. So how many do you guys have?
Oh, I just have one.
Amazing lucky number one.
Listen, well, we'll talk about it more as we go on in the conversation, but due to everything that I experienced
Mhm.
when I had her, I just recently, like within the last like year, became okay with the idea of having another.
Got you. Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Listen, I stuck with my one after 20 years. I'm good with that.
Yes.
And
You
so,
have a 20-year-old.
yeah, I have he's a 20-year-old son in college. Hmm.
Wow, and I thought you were like, around my age, like early 30s.
Oh,
You look good, girl.
thank you. Listen, I get that a lot all the time. So also I see you was also you had suffered or basically had the battle through with postpartum depression anxiety. And so I do want to just show of people who's watching or will rewatch later, postpartum depression suffers by a mother following childbirth typically arises from the combination of hormone changes, psychological adjustments to motherhood and fatigue. So basically, they go a little more in depth. Postpartum means time after childbirth. Most women gets the baby. They call it the baby blues, and
Mhm.
feel sad or empty within a few days of giving birth. And for many women, the baby blues goes away within 3 to 5 days. Normally, go and extend a little longer than that. So, and also with just in regards of postpartum anxiety, is when a person experiences excessive anxiety during the postpartum period following childbirth. It can become so severe that it can interfere with the person's ability to function in everyday tasks. And unlikely with the baby blues, which is postpartum depression, which lasts about 2 postpartum anxiety will always go away on its own. It's crucial to seek help if you're experiencing or just any type of disruption of your sleep, and it's constantly continuing to occur. But definitely, I will actually have information posted below under this live for anybody that is suffering or going through, so that you just have some type of resources. So, in regards to part of the depression and anxiety, so you basically, you did suffer with that. So, was this after you had your daughter?
Yeah, I believe it started, I would say, about 2 months after she was born.
Wow. So when did you actually know that you actually had PPD or PPD?
So the crazy thing is, and I know it sounds weird from the outside in, but I didn't really know that was what I was experiencing
Mm-hmm.
until after it was done. And I suffered for like a year and a half. And I would say January 2020, when I was able to have my husband quit his job and come back to run the daycare that we ran together previously, when I was able to get him back, and I started seeing more clearly. And I was going to therapy at the time, and I was just
Okay, I think her phone her phone had paused, or either she receiving a phone call, but she had come back in. And so for anyone that's basically going through PPD and PPA, this is definitely a conversation you need to stick and be in tune with, as well as, like I stated, I will have a website or some information at the bottom of this, at the end of this live, so anyone could reach out for definitely resources and, or information as well. Let's see. There we go. I don't know what happened. Just be kicking people.
I'm like, I'm talking, and then you went black, and I said, "Oh crap!
Yeah,
Did she log off?"
you,
What happened?
you went frozen on this side. It just froze.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
here.
It happens. It's technology. So, in regards of what you were saying, how you ended up knowing that you had PPD and PPA.
Right. So I'm sorry. I don't know where I left off, but and feel free to interject, like if I'm talking too much, because that's an issue for me. So feel free to stop me.
It's okay.
But I didn't know that that postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety is what I was suffering from until I was no longer suffering from it. And the reason being is because I feel like there's not much talked about postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. Like I had no idea what it could be like. The only thing I knew about postpartum depression prior to having a child was that you either want to kill yourself or your child. I didn't know that you could experience postpartum depression without those symptoms, because thankfully I didn't experience those, but I experienced everything else, like the just rage, the angry all the time, crying all the time, mad at my husband, not interested in having sex, not wanting to leave my house, not wanting to get up in the mornings, not wanting to cook or clean. All those things is what I experienced, but I didn't experience the more, elaborate ones, or however you want to say it. But to answer your question, I didn't know until after I was through it.
Oh wow. Woo. And so so if anybody that you was around, did they see these changes? Did they know you was going through some different things? Did even your husband, did he recognize and say that something was kind of like off, not yourself?
Well, other than my husband, we're never really around many people, being that we worked from home at first. Well, I've always worked from home. I've had my own business since 23. So, my mom would come like once a week, but I feel like a lot of people are not knowledgeable, like educated on the topic. So they just assume, oh, well, she just had a baby, that's normal. Like, oh, she's always tired. That's normal. She's, overwhelmed. That's normal. And it's not.
Yeah.
To a point, I understand, but to the point where I was at, it wasn't. And my husband, I feel like he kind of had some clue that something was going on, but again, wasn't educated on what postpartum depression or anxiety looked like, to be able to help me. And also, like, what I feel like, I love how you started where you explained how it could happen, like what can cause it. So for me, what I feel like caused it, other than the hormonal changes, is we had a situation in our household. My husband always worked daycare with me, and we, worked that together. Then boom, I'm taking care of daycare.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 kids enrolled. I'm taking care of a newborn, and then he's now working a different job.
Gotcha.
So I was left to do all of that, take care of the house and clean and that. And he was working long hours, so my sleeping was messed up. He was working as a customer service rep over the phone from our home. And the thought, like, I wasn't able to let the baby cry or the daycare kids cry, because he could lose his job if the customers heard kids crying in the back. And that was what I feel like kind of gave to the postpartum anxiety as well, because it's like, how do you not let a 2-month-old cry? How do you not let 1 and 2-year-olds cry? And I was never able to sleep train my daughter, all these things. My daughter was breastfed, and I would always just give her the breast when she's about to cry so I can soothe her. And all these things that people didn't really know what I was experiencing. And I would hear from them, oh, you got to give your daughter a bottle. Oh, you got to, let her cry, or you got to do this. And it's like, y'all don't understand what I'm going through at home. Like, I had people tell me, you need to put your daughter in daycare. even though I ran daycare from my home, and it's just like all these things that people say. I got ridiculed by family for breastfeeding as well. So that's another topic.
Wow.
Like, and I feel like that made me anxious to go out in public and feed, because if my own family has all these very interesting opinions on it, like what are strangers gonna say?
Exactly.
So it was just a whole lot at once.
Wow. That's crazy. And I'm surprised, regardless of even just family or anyone having some way of breastfeeding, because if anything, that's like one of the number one things that we be recommended by, even back in the day, the first thing that we're doing breastfeeding the children, that's the most healthiest thing, by giving them back to where they came from, and from the mother. So that was just really kind of weird. But our family could be something else, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you got to be careful what you say to new moms. Cause
Yeah.
I was a new mom. Like I never had a baby before, and to hear that, like, oh, you're not gonna breastfeed around my husband. I don't care who he is to you. That's like pulling genitals out. Like it's the same thing. And I was just like, you guys act like I'm just out here just showing myself off. No, like I'm just trying to get it out to put my daughter on, and that's it. Like I'm not being exposed. That I feel like has something to do with it too. It was just, I don't know, again, so much at one time,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to have another baby for a long time.
I understand. I get it. I really do. I have ups and downs. It's like if I wanted another, didn't want another one, didn't want another one. And then as I got older, I'm like, you know what, I'm good with right here, because I felt like, one, he was giving me everything. All the kids I didn't have, wanted and wish I had or wanted to have, it was all up in him.
That's
he
awesome.
he gave it all to me. So I'm like, oh, I don't think I could have two of him running around without my hair and about to go crazy.
Yeah.
No, ain't happening. So in regards of, so when you found out that you had postpartum depression, anxiety, you was already through it already, so you already had overcame it when you realized that you had it.
Correct.
So when you realized that you had it, like how you felt? Like you was like, how did you, like, 'cause I know you probably was like, oh my God, like, and I know you probably started doing research on it, and start like, okay, I had that. So what was the emotions that was going through you?
I can remember it. Like, I felt like I could finally breathe again. Like, I felt like I was above water, like not completely out, but I was like, wow, I feel like my head is above water. I could see clearly. I could think clearly. Like, I had so many ideas pouring into my head. Like, I remember going to my therapy session January 2020, and my therapist was like, whoa, who is this? Because this is not the Melissa I've been talking to for the last 4 months. Because I had started therapy at the end of 2019.
Okay.
Because of how I was feeling, but also like marital things and stuff like that. But she's like, this is not who I was talking to for the last 4 months. And I was just like, I want to write a book. I want to start my clothing line. I want to do this. She's like, okay, one thing at a time, but like, I'm happy that you're feeling better. And it was just so like freeing. And I was like, oh, heck yeah, there had to have been something that I was going through, because the way I'm feeling now is so different. And that's when I started looking up like postpartum depression, and I started hearing more about postpartum anxiety and all of that. I said, oh, wow. Yeah. And then when was it that I spoke to my doctor about it? Because I don't know, probably this year actually is when I spoke to my doctor, and she's like, oh, wow. Yeah. That's what it was. And I'm sorry that you didn't have the help that you needed. And I said, thankfully I'm okay. But how many other women feel or felt how I felt, have no idea,
Yep.
and they're just drowning and drowning. And it's also like a lack of a village. I feel like I love my mom and she's there for me as much as she can be. She still works, but we don't have like, you know, another set of grandparents here that I can call, or like, you know, even before COVID, it's always just really been us. And I feel like it's so important for you to have a village, for you to be able to have someone that you can trust to watch your child, just so you can get a moment to yourself. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I didn't have that. And I kind of lost who I was as a person, as Melissa. And I'm still working on finding out who I am besides business, besides wife and mom.
That first of all, that's something that we gonna always end up doing. Just like as long as we're gonna continue to end up growing, you know, and elevating if that's something you truly want to do for yourself. And you're not, just ignoring the fact of like, okay, this is like I have to grow, elevate, and move forward, and not be who I was maybe 5 months or a year ago. But if that's what you want to do, then that's how some people are. But majority, that's what the revelation of earth and living and life is, to revolve, to elevate, to grow. As long as we breathe and living. But I'm definitely glad that you actually made it through. So, with your doctor, so your doctor did even see this? Like, did you even go to the doctor at any point of time to even ask her or him, like, hey, what's going on? I'm going through something. I don't know what it is.
No, to be honest, if I had my physical, I'm a person that I can smile through anything and you won't know what's going on. And
Yeah.
my doctor, like for the physical, I don't always trust doctors. And I'm in the process of still finding a new doctor, because every time I would talk to a doctor, it's like they don't take me seriously. So it's like, why do I say anything?
Right.
I don't think I might not have had my yearly checkup with my gynecologist that year when I was going through it. So I
Hmm.
feel like that's why. But also a big thing for me was fear, because a lot of people don't have knowledge of what postpartum depression can be and look like. I ran a daycare and I had an infant. So if I tell people how I'm feeling, I felt like they're going to take away my license and they're going to take away my child. You know, the kids, I was fine to take care of the kids. Like, I love those kids, and you can ask the parents, love those kids like they were my own. They were never in danger. The parents had no idea until now that they hear me talk about it, and they're like, wow, like
Yeah.
you couldn't tell. But for me, I think it was fear of speaking up that something would happen. Because
Yeah.
even recently, I maybe a few months ago, I had posted, you know, we all, even if we're strong, we all have our moments, right? And it's okay to sit in our moments. So I'm very transparent with my community, and I had one of my stories, and I was crying that day, and I was just telling them, you know, I had a rough day today. Not that I wanted to commit suicide or anything. So I'm not sure if the person that watched it if that's what they thought, but I just had a rough day. I wanted to quit my business. I wanted to, you know, just throw in the towel. So I was just talking to my community. And I get a message from someone like, oh, you can't be telling stuff like that to the people because I've seen daycare providers lose their license. And I'm like, why? Because we had a rough day?
Wow.
Like, so I'm like, Dag, if I'm through postpartum depression now, I definitely didn't want to speak up when I was going through it, because what the heck was going to happen then?
Exactly.
And it shouldn't be like that. You
No,
know,
because at the end of the day, you got to realize that we're human. And just like you said, we have a bad day, we gonna have bad days, and then especially becoming a brand new mother and going through these feelings and these physical feelings and emotional feelings that you don't even know what's going on, what to even call it, had no type of resolution, no type of knowledge of like, what the hell is this? Until after the end. And not knowing that you did with a shit, maybe somebody could have been had told you, hey, wait, are you feeling this way? You feeling this way? You know what? You may got this, so maybe you need to check that out. But it's like now with our community, in the community, it's like so much judgment on top. Also, I also realize that being mentally unstable, um, it's a risk because you're gonna lose your license, your businesses, your whole, income and, you know, your livelihood because is, oh, we cannot be all right. And what?
Right.
That's crazy. We got to put on this fake smile and cover everything up, and we dying literally inside, walking around like a zombie.
You're right. And it's like, I didn't know this until probably late last year that there's medication you can take to help you with postpartum depression. I said, dag, I could have used that. So then it gets me thinking, like, how many other moms are going through this and don't know that there's medication? And it's okay if you need to take medication. It doesn't mean that you're a crazy person, because in the Black and Latina community, I feel like it's very like, oh, you're going to therapy? Because I was asked, oh my God, you're going to therapy? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, nothing's wrong. I just need to talk to someone. This was even like after postpartum depression. And like, for people in our community to understand that it's okay if somebody needs medication to help them. That, you know, just like people take medication for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, all of that, you know, taking medication for depression or whatever it is, it's okay. And that's what I'm so open, I guess, with how I feel on the daily with my community. And I don't mind sharing if I want to give up and things like that. Because now my community checks me. Like, I had somebody DM me like, sis, you forgot who God was. He could do it. This was when I was going through having to move back into my apartment earlier this year. He could do it. And I'm like, but they don't work on the weekend. He could do it. But it's just the fact that now I have people that can help hold me accountable.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I kind of went off on the tangent, but yeah.
You're good. You're telling your story, and this is the reason why you're up here. Absolutely. And that's a good thing. I'm glad, especially you have your village around you now. But then just back when you said that, and you know, in the Black and Latino community, is basically look upon of going to therapy. Because like they ask you what's wrong with you. So it's like if you go to therapy, something has to be wrong with you. And I always tell people, basically you go to therapy so you could, you know what I'm saying, get help and assistance so you won't end up having something be wrong with you, or for you before you even go crazy.
Right.
You know, it's better for me to go crazy, running around here like a crazy man with no shoes on, my shirt and my underwear. Some of these women that be going off on half of these crazy drugs or losing their mind. Then you'll be like, oh, she crazy, she need help. Oh, now I need help because now I'm abandoned. But before I end up before I go over there, how about let me go get help before I go? So you get judged if you don't, and you get judged if you do. So it's like
that's why you gotta do what's best for you, and you know, forget what anybody else has to say. I've always been a firm believer, even in doing daycare. I would always tell my families, you gotta do what's best for you and your family, because at the end of the day, people's gonna do what's best for them. So
that's true. And just like even just small talk saying what you need to feel without feeling guilty is what we absolutely you need to. And that's why I tell people, stop giving a fuck what other people think. It's your life. You live in it. They're not living it. They're not behind your closed doors. They're not in your mental, emotional space of your mind and your body. So forget what they say and how they feel. So then also, with just the fact of you end up conquering, overcoming, and actually getting through, you know, PPD and PPA, I see that you also made what you struggle with. You turn your pain into purpose. Yeah. And you turn the pain into purpose, which you end up creating amazing clothing and brand that's called, say it right, La Pear?
Yes, ma'am.
And it sounds so French. So tell me, what is La Pear? What is La Pear and why La Pear?
So La Pear is an inspirational clothing and jewelry brand. is built to encourage, motivate, and inspire women, moms, especially in the Black and Latina community, that you too can push past your pain, that your past does not define you. You're not your trauma. You can be whoever it is that you want to be. Because, so I've always been someone that encourages. I always love encouraging others. And once I made it out of postpartum depression and anxiety, I said, holy shoot, I think my purpose on this earth is to encourage others. And it's so funny that it took me, I was 29 or 28. I was 28 at the time when I finally figured that out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this a brand. And yes, I wanted to do the clothing and the jewelry, but to me, the main purpose is because I want to truly encourage others, because I know what it's like to go through something and feel like you have nobody to talk to. Because in my postpartum depression journey, I would talk to my mom, but I didn't really have, like, you know how most girls, you know, us women, we have like our best friend that we tell everything to. And yeah, I could talk to some people, but it's not like I had that one person I could really confide in, or I didn't have, I don't feel like I really have somebody like truly encouraging me on the daily. So that's why I wanted to build my brand, so that when people are feeling down, they can come to our page and they can get that inspiration that they need to push past. And I want it for our clothing pieces and our jewelry, for it to be like a reminder. So like you're having a rough day or whatever the case is, but you could look down at your wrist if you have a bracelet. You could look down at your t-shirt, your sweatshirt, your hoodie, whatever it is, and you could say, okay, I'm having a rough time, but this too shall pass. Or I'm having a rough time, but it's not always going to stay like this. So I really just want to give people that motivation, that push, because so many people go through so much and we have no idea what people's story is. You know, we're just a little bit kinder. And I believe in being the change you want to see in this world. So that's why if I feel like the world needs more motivation, then I'm going to be the first one to give it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so what does LaPierre actually mean? What is the definition behind LaPierre?
Yes. So my husband came up with the name.
Okay.
So with the L stands for Lee, which is his middle name, my daughter's middle name, and unfortunately, whenever we have more kids, it'll be all of their middle names. I have no say in their middle names. He wanted his children, especially if they're girls, to be able to have something that they carry from dad, whether they get remarried or not. Because, you know, when us women, some of us take our husband's last name, he wanted them to always carry Lee. And the Pear stands for Pearson, which is our last name. I just changed the spelling a little bit. But and what that is not only, you know, middle and last name, but it's the start of our empire, because I'm a firm believer in ending generational curses. Poverty ends with me. Generational wealth starts with me. And I know that God gave me this vision, and I want to just create something so my daughter never has to go through what I went through. I love my mom. My dad passed away at the age when I was 3. And, you know, she did the best that she could with what she had. But I don't want to have my daughter have that same story. I want her she could take over one of our businesses. She could open up her own. But LaPierre is our family's legacy.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And I'm definitely a firm believer of generational wealth, and sitting there and doing whatever I can do in regards to leaving legacy and you know, just something that they could call their own, that no one could take from them, but take what I have or what I have done with it, and they could just go beyond and just take it on their own, you know, put their own remix and their own spit into it. So I definitely 100% believe in that. Like, and that's what I'm doing right now with and I love the fact you call it an empire. So I love, listen, that's what we got to do, because in our Black and brown community, there's not so many people that have those things that they could call their own and lead to their kids. 9 times 10, you leave their kids bills and all the crap. And it's like, what can they do with that but be harassed by collecting calls and sitting And, no, how about the fact that you leave them with something behind where they said, mommy did the thing, daddy did his amazing damn thing, and they left us something behind that we now can put our own remix to it and take it beyond where they left off. So I definitely respect that so much.
Can I say something real quick before I forget?
No, go ahead.
I'm writing it down because I didn't want to interrupt you. So I started my business, my daycare business, at the age of 23. And I had only worked for 3 other people before then. I've never worked for anybody else after that. And I vowed to myself I will never work for anyone else ever again. I am not downing 9 to 5s because, like I always say, we need this world to go round. And if we didn't have people working at the banks, at the grocery stores, then this world wouldn't go round. So I'm not downing because I know that business is not for everybody, and that's okay. But I had someone speak life into me at the age of 23. It was my husband's sister, so my sister-in-law. I was working at a daycare center, and she said, you should open up your own. And I thought she was crazy because I'm like, what the heck do I know about running my own business? But
Yeah.
had she never said that, I wouldn't be here now. And I don't think she knows because I've never told her how impactful her speaking life into me was. But that's why with LaPierre, I want to be that person that speaks life into somebody that, you can know, like, okay, I can do this. I might be a little fearful at first, but at one point or another, you got to get rid of the fear. And then another thing that you mentioned was, leaving something behind for your kids instead of just debt or them trying to figure out how the heck they're going to pay for your funeral. I want my husband and myself to be those great, great, great grandparents that our grandkids, great, great grandkids say, you know what? Wow. Thank you, great granddaddy Art and great grandma Melissa, for doing what you did because you changed the game for our family.
Yeah.
And I want people to know those people that are out here breaking generational curses and and building generational wealth. I'm trying to work on my what I say because your words are powerful.
Yes.
But for those building generational wealth, the reason why it's so hard and why you have so much opposition when you're trying to do good is because the world knows, or I don't mean to get too spiritual, but the enemy knows your capability and he knows what you're capable of and what your potential can be. So when you keep trying to break through that wall, it's so hard because of everything that's out there for you after. So just keep pushing. And when I don't know if you know that little meme that there's 2 gold miners and they're digging for diamonds or gold, and there's one that is this close away from hitting the diamonds and he walks back. But if he would have just hit it one more time, he would have had all the diamonds. So I say that to say when you feel like giving up the most is when you got to keep pushing through because you don't know what's on the other side. And what's on the other side is something so much greater than what you can even imagine.
Yes.
Sorry. I just got excited.
Okay, listen, I may be not, but I am very well spiritual. I come from a spiritual family background whose reverends, pastors have their own church, so trustably, you not insulting me any type of way. I listen, the pillow talk with the T family know how it is, how we get down. So in regards also, and just not only just hitting it about that story, and I love the fact that the guy just hit it one more time, but that also shows people if you just just at that point when you feel like you're about to give up, just go that one more. That's when you get it, So I definitely love that. That's amazing. And so in regards to just being a mom, being a boss, businesswoman, you are. I not like to, what you say. You say you've been owning your own business 23 years old, and that's amazing. Not many 23-year-olds can say that, And I say this is because when you feel that that you are not able to work, you don't have the spirit to work for someone else, and you feel that boss energy, that entrepreneur, business woman or man spirit in you, I say tap into it and don't be afraid, don't question, because sometimes everybody don't have that standstill spirit to work for someone else. you know, because it took me a minute. Listen, I was like, you know how we used to play French? You got to jump in the room. I was like this for at
Yeah.
least a couple of years. I'm not going to lie. Until as I got older, I'm like, listen, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not to work for no one else. And if I do work for someone else, I need to be in management or some type of HR because I need
Right.
these fuckers. I
I love you. Yes.
I can't be sitting there. I can't be sitting there actually be having someone over me because I go crazy like you ain't telling me what to do. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. Because it's hard, especially like that's what I thought about too. Like, dad, I've been telling myself what to do. I do what I want when I want. To have to ask somebody when I could take a day off,
Mm,
no, like I can't go back to that. And
yeah.
that's why, like, even now, um, I'm going so hard with Le Pair. I'm also starting a start a home daycare coaching business.
Oh,
And I'm like, I have to go hard because there is no other option for me. Because like I've read a lot of different personal development books, and when you give yourself that option of going back, then you really don't, you kind of cheat yourself and you don't give your all like you really could. Because me knowing that I don't have no other option, I have to go hard. Because
yeah.
if not, well, then, you're going to see me out on the street. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, we have a question. What's your favorite item in your inventory?
All right. Well, that's kind of easy for me now because it's brand new, but it's the shirt that I'm wearing, and you're probably going to see it in a lot of my videos. It's either the shirt or the hoodie, but this saying that says, I turn my pain into purpose, because it means so much to me. It's so powerful. Like, I really want people to know that your pain, what was meant for your bad, you can turn it into something so amazing. And what I like, postpartum depression, I could have stayed there for years because I know, like, I follow different people on social media or know different people, and I see a woman that's been struggling with it for so long. And I'm like, I could have just been there, and I could have never came out, but I was able to. And for me to be able to turn it into a brand that encourages others, I'm no more special than anyone else. So what I did, anybody else could do as well. And I really just want to push, especially moms, to know that you could be whoever you want to be. Like I said this in one of my captions. When we're little and people tell you you could be whoever you want to be when you grow up, and you be like, yeah, I'm gonna be the president, or I'm gonna be this. So keep that same energy you had when you was 5 years old. But
Exactly.
can I say my second favorite?
Go ahead.
My second favorite is also the other new design I have out, which is speak it, believe it, work it, don't quit.
I
And
like
that one I love because you have to speak what you want into this world. Our words are so powerful. And
that.
once you speak it, it's not enough for you to speak it. You have to actually believe what you're saying, because if you don't believe it, then it's not going to happen. But it's not enough to just speak it and believe it. You also have to put in the work, because a lot of times people will think, and the church side, oh, well, because someone prophesied to me and told me X, Y, and Z, it's going to come true. No, honey, if you don't put in no work, ain't nothing going to happen. Like I can't speak and believe I'm going to be a millionaire, but never work to
Exactly.
get it.
Exactly.
And then once you put in that work, I put don't quit, because I need people to understand that this is not easy. And
No.
even if it's not a business, even if it's just not regular, but even if it's just goals like exercising or being a better you, you're still going to have rough times. You're going to have times when you feel like giving up. You're going to have times where you're crying, and that's okay. Sit in your feelings for a moment, but don't let that moment keep you down. You get back up and you keep going.
I know that's right. Listen, you couldn't say it better than I could say it. Because I'll be up here preaching and telling and giving that motivation, encouraging, and that positive to those that be needing it, and I'll be saying the same thing. So, well said, boo. So, in regards to just because when I did read, I know that it's you are encouraging, you're motivating, you're inspiring others out there in regards of just continue to keep pushing through their pain, and like you say, turn their pain into a purpose, and even a bag. Why not? So,
Right.
so what advice would you actually give women that's going through, for one, PPA and PPD?
That it won't always be like this,
Mm.
and that the end is better than the beginning, because eventually you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it feels like, because especially when I was going through it, I just felt like it was never going to end, but it did. So if they can remember that it will eventually get better, I feel like that will just help motivate them a little bit to push through it. But also to find somebody, seek help. It's okay. Like I said, it's okay to take medication for it. It's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to talk to your doctor. I feel like if everyone just became a little bit more educated, and if everybody, like, again, that village aspect, if everybody just chipped in a little bit when a new mom came, it would be just a little bit easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, what
No, hold on.
actually give a mom who's basically, I mean, that's possible, that, I'm sorry, just lost my train of thought, is
Nope,
like,
it's okay.
so basically, what advice would you actually give moms out, basically, that's looking, not even just moms, just women and men, our community, period, because we have to stop seeing the women and men, because sometimes I feel like men, which I learned, they do go through postpartum
Oh, yeah.
depression.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And when I learned that, I was a very educational, knowledgeable aha moment. I'm like, wow, and this shows how much we leave them out, in that they don't go through these things as well.
Right.
But a whole nother show for a whole nother topic. So, but what would you give the advice, the motivation, the encouragement, the inspiration to our Black and Brown community, in regards to who looking to either want to start a business, or second guess themselves, or want to say, okay, I think I could turn my.
I love that question. And excuse me, I had to move over here because my phone decided it wanted to almost die, so I had to plug it on the charger.
Oh, it's
But
okay.
the advice that I would give is just do it. Don't worry about perfecting it, because if you do, you're going to psych yourself out and you will never start. You have to just start and the rest will follow. Like when I started Le Pair, I literally only had a dream, a vision, and I had one t-shirt. I had my gray encourage, motivate, inspire shirt. And that was, I didn't know nothing about marketing. I didn't have a website. If you saw my first vendor event table, I had pictures and I posted from time to time. It was bad, y'all. Like, and I'm still not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect, but I'm further than where I was. And
Exactly.
you just have to start. You got to put the fear to the side, and failure. To me, it's like there's no such thing as failure, because failing means that you tried, you
Mm-hmm.
at least tried.
Yeah.
And when you messed up, okay, you're learning from it now, and now you know how to be better. If you never fail, it means you don't never try. And if you think about it, all the millionaires and the billionaires in this world have failed
Yes.
so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens? They didn't let that stop them. They kept going. So that's the best advice that I could give to someone that is thinking about starting a brand, a business, or anything like that. You can do it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is. Why can't you?
Absolutely, especially if it's something that you feel yourself wanting to do. So
Right.
what? So my thing is, like we said, it's not easy. It's gonna
No.
be the same way you go work for somebody else and gotta put that time. You have to put the time in. Only the fact that you could get up when you ready to give up, get up. You set your own hours, your own time, and But at the same time, you only going to see growth and elevation and things transform from the beginning to so many different levels because you're putting that work in that time and that energy. Now, if you end up saying, I'm going to start a business, you don't give some blood, sweat, and tears, you ain't going to see nothing.
Correct.
I like to start something and then end up saying, okay, well, what happened? I thought it was supposed to. No, you got to do the work. Absolutely. And listen, even with my podcast, my health and fitness line, and my health and wealth products. The thing is, I've seen the elevation of all three of my businesses revolve in the matter of just these 2 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'd be so amazed because I'm looking at this and I'd be like, wow. And I can just imagine where I was 2-3 years ago to where I'm at now. And I can just see everything that's coming together, revolving, elevating, and it's growing and changing. I say, my people continue to change because I'm always thinking of something new. I'm always doing something new. I'm always looking at fresh and new to bring back to my business so I can be able to take level. So, but that's because, listen, I'm a creative thinker and person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to bed until probably 4 o'clock in the morning.
Because your brain's always going.
Exactly. And not only that, when people that's very creative, like she said, your brain's always going due to that. Even if I want to sleep, go to sleep at a regular time, my brain is not going to allow me because even if I close my eyes and try to force myself to sleep, this is still moving. And it's like, I can't, just like, there's something in me said that I got to get up because I got to get it out of me. It's like, I can't go to sleep until I get it out of me. So, but somebody, an old wise one told me that's an entrepreneur spirit.
Yeah.
And when you have that, you're going so many places and you're going so far. And you know what I also do? I like to is doing stuff after hours when everybody is sleeping, the world is quiet.
Yep.
It's because the vibration, everybody else's energy vibration, they sleep.
Yes.
It's on mute right now. So knowing the fact that it's on mute, it gives me that space.
Mm-hmm. Uninterrupted.
Exactly. So it wasn't no blocking. So
Yes.
I start pouring out. And that's where it comes. So once I hear them crickets, I know it's time for me to go. Time to go to work. Time to go to work.
Yes. Can I add something to what you said before? When you were saying how in 2 years you look back and saw so much growth and elevation. I love that you pointed that out because I was telling my husband this, and I think I put it in one of my captions. When we start learning how to walk, we start learning how to ride a bike, people that dance, when you start learning how to dance, et cetera, you guys get where I'm going. You never start off being great. You start off probably pretty bad. If you think about it, you're not the best. But the more you practice, the more consistent that you are, the better and the better that you get. Someone that's been singing or dancing for 20 years will look back and say, I wasn't that great the first year or two, but look at me now. And that's the same way when it comes to owning a business. And even if you don't want to be a business owner, it's okay. Just being you as a person, you grow better over time, So I wanted to put that out there because I feel like that could encourage someone as well.
Absolutely. Melissa, it's been amazing having you come
Thank
through.
you. Thank you for having me.
And I'm glad that you reached out to me and we connected, and the alignment was really on point because I'm always just inspiring, encouraging, innovating others just to do the damn thing. Don't worry about the outside noise, other people's feeling like they being judged. I also are a true believer in just basically people just looking into themselves and peeling back the layers and do evaluation, being accountable, and all stuff and self-love. And listen, I'm 100% when it comes to therapy. And anybody know me know that. So, but I'm definitely grateful to have you here with a clear spirit and just doing the damn thing and listen and run. You and your husband run an empire for you guys to leave behind for your children, and just inspiring so many people in our community that needs to see so many of us women, and we need to see more of us men You know, so I'm glad that your husband
Yeah.
is also the example as that as well for the males. So thank you so much for coming through. I appreciate it. So tell people in regards to where they could go to get this amazing merch. I can't wait to receive mine.
Yes, you should get it soon. If not tomorrow, I think Monday.
Okay.
Um, you could first go to my Instagram at Lapeer, hit the follow button, and then you can click the link in my bio, take you to my website, www.lapeer.com, and there you'll see all of our different bracelets, different t-shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies, because it's hoodie season, and you can pick whichever inspirational mantra that you like best, that best suits you. Pick one, pick two, pick a few. And
I like
yeah, actually I'm going to put a discount code up as soon as we get off. I wasn't able to put it up prior, but it's gonna say Pillow Talk 15, and you can get 15% off your purchase from today. Was today Friday until end of day on Sunday. So I'll post that. I'll post it in the comments. I know we're about to end, but I'll post it in my stories for people to know.
absolutely. And just so you say it's gonna be Pillow Talk 15.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I make sure I put it inside the caption the video.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate you so much for having me.
you are so welcome. See, you guys, everything. And this is what I do when I bring people, when people come reaching out to me, or I reach out to people and bring people on. I bring you gifts. You can't say that choir ain't nothing sit there and give you. You can't say Pillow Talk ain't never do nothing for you.
Yes.
So listen, I do appreciate that. Listen, and then also just one other thing. I see that you have, what is it, Motivational Mondays, I believe, or
Oh, yes. How could I forget? You see, it's end of the day, and I'm like, yes, Motivational Mondays. It is now every single Monday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless otherwise noted. I like to bring women on. This is season 2, so I'm bringing women on that have also turned their pain into purpose, that have they've gone through something, but they turned it around and they built a brand or they built a business around it. So maybe you can come on and be one of my guests
oh,
too. Um,
I would love that.
So I'll be in touch with you, so we can schedule that. But yes, every single Monday. So come and join us.
Okay, listen, I'm all about women empowerment, encouragement, and inspiring. That's who I am. That's what I stand and live by. And listen, that's me all day. So listen, you guys, make sure you guys go follow Lapeer Co. Amazing. Listen, when I get mine, I'm gonna be rocking it. Y'all trust me. We can't wait to y'all how I'm gonna hook it up. Your girl gonna hook it up. Y'all gonna be like from. So this is where I get it from. So I'm definitely gonna end up basically also tagging her when I wear on that live, just for people to go out. But remember, getting 15% off with the discount Pillow Talk 15 for up until down until Sunday. So
And we have free shipping.
and about shipping and handling. Look at that. Thank God. So make sure you guys go follow her. Also check her out on Motivational Mondays to get that inspiration, motivation, encouragement, and that innovative that we all need, some reassurance with ourselves, and just that healing, and then having such a community of love and healing to, just to inspire. So Melissa, I appreciate you so much. You have an amazing night and continue.
You as well.
Mom, boss chick, wife, sister, friend, everything.
All right. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good night.
You do the same. Good night, love. So that was the amazing Melissa Pearson from LaPierre Co. And listen, you guys, make sure you go into the website. The link will be in her bio. Please go and follow her on Instagram. And the website is in her bio on Instagram. And I had tagged her down, but just in case, LaPierre is LEPEIR on Instagram. And just go and remember, you are getting 15% off from up to today, which is Friday. 9:05 up until Sunday. Free shipping and handling. So go and get that innovation, motivation, and inspirational clothing. That sometimes we need that affirmation to remind ourselves who we are, to be able to have that reassurance that sometimes that we need, and that we definitely need from time to time. We're human, but at the end of the day, we still need that reassurance. We still need that motivation, that encouragement. So why not brand it and put it on your body by LaPierre? So you guys, make sure you go check that out. And listen, thank me later for so much for the 15% off. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing episode, an amazing another one for this week. I won't see you guys until next week. Your girl have a full schedule also next week again. I will see you next week with amazing for Thursday. I have other shows in between there. So I believe I do have 3 or 4 extra shows besides just the regular show on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check your local listings. However, I do have my ladies that's coming up next week, Thursday. They're coming on and we're speaking, and the topic is Ladies, Fix Your Crown. Listen, we going in on the sisters. Sometimes we have to check each other. Sometimes we have to tap each other on the shoulder. Sometimes we can't be afraid to tap and check in or check each other as well. And sometimes we have to let each other know when we're messing up, when we're fumbling, and if we're doing it incorrect, and that we need to correct one another. So I don't know why nowadays we're not doing that, but we need to end up doing that a little bit more. And y'all already know, I ain't scared. I ain't afraid. I'm going to check you and I'm going to tap you. You get an attitude, it's okay. You'll be fine. So, but other than that, I see you guys next week. You guys have an amazing and wonderful, safe and beautiful weekend. Enjoy it to the fullest. But also remember, if no one told you that they love you, know that I love you. And know that you are not who you were yesterday, of who you are standing and sitting and watching this video right now, of who you are today. Continue to strive for elevation. Continue to be great. You guys have an amazing night. Have an amazing weekend. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.